What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Gimme presented by BetMGM. Why the Gimme? You guys know why. Because it's good. That's why we're less than 12 hours away from the first tee shot at the Mayakoba Golf Classic, the last official event on the PGA Tour's 2020 calendar. Of course, we're still mid-season. That season will continue first week of January, but last event of 2020. We will spin the betting wheel coming up. We will make a DFS lineup, and of course, our perfect portfolio is coming up very shortly. I'm Jason Sobel from Golf Bet, along with my friends Peter Jennings and Amanda Rose. We're going to have a giveaway later. And first, let's say a little hello. Amanda, what's going on? How you doing? Last event of 2020.
I know. Can you believe it? I'm good, Jace. How are you?
I'm great. Peter, what's going on?
Yeah, excited for some more golf, and we're going to be envious of the golfers in the PGA Tour in Hawaii. Before you know it, we'll be in 2021, which hopefully is a better year than 2020.
Hey, Pete, give me one guy you're going to be talking about for the next 30 minutes here on the show.
I'll be talking a lot about Russell Henley, who I think should be right there. Obviously, JT's the clear favorite, but I like Russell Henley basically more than everyone else after JT.
All right, Amanda, how about you?
I don't have one guy in particular that I used more than once, but I'm going to start out talking about Bryce Garnett, and I'm really excited about that guy.
Bryce Garnett plays really well in island tropical weather.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I'm going to be talking about Patton Kizzire, our guy who came on the Action Network podcast, gave us some tips this week on why we should play him. I'll be talking about that over the next half hour here on the Gimme. So let's start with the top of the board. And of course, we've got one guy who is the prohibitive favorite this week. There's no sort of, going back and forth, mix and match it. It is Justin Thomas plus 650. You better like Justin Thomas a whole lot. I get he's the best player in the field. You better like him if you're taking him outright this week. Brooks Koepka, 12-1, right behind him. Brooks Koepka was asked on Wednesday how he would assess his season, how he would assess being 12th in the world right now. And he said, I can't really say what I want to say because I'll probably get fined. He's not real happy with the way he's been playing. Maybe that's the motivation for Brooks Koepka. Harris English, 16-1. Abraham Answer in his native Mexico, 18-1. Daniel Berger, Victor Hovland, both 22-1, rounding out that top six. Peter, what do we think of those prices? Anybody mispriced near the top of the board this week?
I think obviously JT should be the favorite. I think that's right. And then the relative order is okay. I don't think this is a great course for Brooks Koepka. I'm getting more bullish on him than I have been after his form at the Masters. And just, at Shadow Creek, he was walking around better. And I think the knee injury is certainly still something that, he's not 100%, but he's certainly a lot better off than he was for the majority of last season. So I'd knock him down a little bit. And I mentioned, I think Russell Henley deserves to be in that conversation, but certainly a lot of nice golfers at the top. And we've talked a lot about Abraham Answer, who I hope gets his first PGA Tour victory this week.
Yeah, very interesting that Victor Hovland sort of knocked Tony Finau out of that top six. Finau was up there until maybe just 24 hours ago. And then Victor Hovland is apparently been getting some steam from the marketplace a little bit. So he's knocked down Finau just a bit. So let's get to our perfect portfolio. We do it every week here on the Gimme. Some of us have been given $100 to spend in their perfect portfolio. Others, Amanda, not so much. But that's okay. As we say every single week, it's not about how much you're spending. It's not about the stakes, the volume. We all want winners. So we're trying to find winners for you guys. You can see how we did 2 weeks ago at the RSM Classic. Who cares? That was so long ago. We're going to do better this week. Our perfect portfolio. Peter, how are you spending that $100 this week?
Yeah, so I'm excited to invest this $100. I really like this week. I'll start off with Brendan Todd as an outright. I think this is a big-time accuracy course, and Brendan Todd was essentially the best at finding fairways last year, had a ridiculous stretch when he was just automatic finding fairways. Really accurate golfers, obviously won here. I think this is a perfect course for him. And he should be shorter odds, in my opinion. He's plus 4,500 on BetMGM, which I think he should be more in the 30, 35-1 range, given the perfect course fit. And we know when he gets hot, he can contend and win. Next, I'm spending $25 on Russell Henley for a top 10 at plus 250. I think Russell Henley should be the second or third, kind of ranked golfer this week, specifically because of his approach. Russell Henley has been absolutely elite, top 5 in strokes gained approach over the last couple of months. He's been absolutely dynamite with his irons. And he's another guy who's just had really good form broadly. And I think this course sets up extremely well for him. And finally, I'm investing $25 in Ches Reavie for a top 10 at plus 500. I know Ches Reavie plays a little bit better on the West Coast. We talked about that on the podcast, Jason, but Ches Reavie, another fairway finder. We're expecting rain and it could be lift clean in place. So if that's the case, it's perfect for Ches Reavie, who's been top 15 the last 3 years and driving accuracy. Amanda, how are you investing your money this week?
So I'm going for all top 10 plays. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm going to put the bulk of my money in Bryce Garnett for a top 10, $6 of that, a lot of money, I know. If there is a horse for a course, it's Bryce Garnett here. It's since 2014, he's finished 6th, 7th, 25th, 5th and 11th. He's been playing like okay as of late, but 21st in Bermuda was his best finish since the summer. And if there are going to be courses that they played recently that are going to be a little bit more similar to Mexico, it's going to be Bermuda. So I really like him here. And he's really good on these types of grasses, these types of courses. And he's a player that's also played really well at the Heritage in the past. And I see a little bit of correlation between those two courses because my next pick is going to be Russell Knox, $2 for a top 10 at plus 600 for him. He's also played really well at both Hilton Head and at this event. He had a bad run of missed cuts in the middle of the summer, but he does have 2 top 20 finishes in early November. He has 3 top 10 finishes at this event since 2015. So he, like Bryce Garnett, is a horse for this course. They both play well at the RBC Heritage. They both play well at this course. I'm going to take Jason's guy here, Patton Kizzire, for top 10, also plus 600. I like to see who Pete and Jason take because you guys know more than I do. So sometimes I just have to copy you. And I understand why Jason in particular is big on Kizzire this week. He won the event back in 2017. He's never missed a cut here. And on top of that, he finished 11th and 10th in his last 2 tour events. So you look at his recent form with the play at this event, he's a really good top 10 pick, especially at plus 600 for a top 10. And we all know BetMGM pays out ties in full. So Jason, now it's your turn to tell us why we need to choose Patton Kizzire.
I will definitely tell you that in a second. First of all, I love the Freudian slip calling him Bryson Garnett. I think we should pack him with a few protein shakes. Garnett is one of my favorite dudes just to kind of hang with on the PGA Tour. One of the nicest guys out there. One of the other nicest guys out there was on our podcast. You just mentioned him, Patton Kizzire, my favorite outright play this week. For a few of the reasons you just mentioned there, Amanda, he's a really good form guy. When Patton Kizzire is off his game, he's really off. I mean, it goes south in a hurry. When he is on his game, he can be as good as just about anybody out there. And he is on his game, as you mentioned, a 10th and 11th in his last 2 starts. And he's playing at a place where he feels really good. On the podcast this week, he told us, as long as I don't get Montezuma's revenge in Mexico this week, I should be okay. Let's hope Patton Kizzire stays healthy. I'm throwing $25 on him at 70-1 outright this week. I'm going big on Patton Kizzire. My second bet with this $100 for the perfect portfolio. Abraham Answer. I can't go outright, guys. I just 20-1 this week, 18-1 as an outright play at BetMGM. You're betting on something that's never happened before. If I told you, hey, an elephant's going to fly through the air, it's not named Dumbo, would I say, I'll only give you 18-1 if it actually happens? You go, no, I've never seen that before. I need like 20,000-1. Abraham Answer has yet to win on the PGA Tour. I need a bigger number. I get the number. It makes sense. I'm fine. It's just for me personally. So I'm going top 5 instead. You can get him at 4-1 plus 400 for a top 5, $25 on him there. And $50, half my portfolio, and Harris English top 10 plus 175. Peter, you okay with English this week?
Yeah, I like English. I think he's obviously played incredible through the season so far. Really someone who benefited the most probably during the COVID swing. Just amazing recent form. And this is a field with obviously JT. But after that, Harris English is kind of the cream of the crop. And it's a decent course fit. He's a little longer, and that's why Tony P now moved down. His biggest weapon, his distance, isn't as valuable here. So I do like English, but I'll take Russell Henley straight up over English, which I think is different than the market.
Side action.
All right.
You're on. Let's go.
$100.
All right. It is time to play the wheel. We've got the top 6. You're in, Amanda, too.
All $2.
Side action with that. We got the top 6 on the board on our betting wheel this week. Super producer Evan Abrams will spin the wheel. Evan, first of all, are you ready? Second of all, Hi, how are you? Third of all, you get to call the order. You can tell us who's up. You can wait till it finishes spinning and then pick. What's up, Evan? How you doing?
I had to wait till you were done there, but listen, Viva La Mexico. I wish I was going there this weekend because I could use the hot weather. But for the moment, let's just spin the wheel. Let's start first. All right, here we go. The wheel is going to initially fall on Daniel Berger, and it's going to fall on it for Peter Jennings. What you got, Peter?
I will fade Daniel Berger, who was playing awesome to start the COVID swing. Really got hot with the putter, which kind of elevated all of his results. I mean, he was playing well in a lot of different ways, but the putter in particular was just white hot. And he kind of started moving up big time in the odds market, and he hasn't been playing well recently, and he's still priced kind of like he was during the peak of the COVID swing for him. So I think he's a clear fade. Any matchup against Berger, fading him in DFS, you can find a Henley versus Berger. I love that specifically for a matchup. And he's the easiest fade for me on the wheel.
Love it. Love when Peter goes fade. That's to me, that's where I like to dive in. All right, so let's keep going. Let's spin the wheel here. All right. Next up is, it's between Answer and English, and it's going to fit on Answer. It is Abraham Answer. I'm going to go to Sobel. I want to hear what Sobel has to say about Answer. What do you got?
Well, I'm going back to what I just said about Abraham
Yeah.
Answer. He's in my perfect portfolio. I got him top 5, so I'd like to be consistent. I don't want to in one segment say I'll take Answer top 5 at 4-1, and the next segment get him on the wheel and say I'm going to fade Answer a little bit. So I will absolutely take Answer top 5 again. I'm going to double down on that bet that I just had 2 minutes ago.
All right, listen, I could have given it to Amanda. Maybe she would have done something different, but I was hoping maybe you'd go outright. I was waiting for you to make the leap, take him off the board. All right.
Can't do it outright. Top 5, though, I like.
Got it. All right, last spin. Oh, I'm so happy. All right, Amanda, it's Koepka. What do you got?
Yeah, so the most generous finish I'm going to give Brooks this week is a top 20, and only because he played well at the Masters. So he's in decent form right now, but this is, like I say, most weeks, I just don't think he cares. He could go out and surprise us and win it, but I just don't think he cares. So I think top 20 is going to be the most I would give Brooks, but honestly, I would probably fade him in a lot of matchups. Actually, I would fade him in any matchup against anyone on this leaderboard except for Berger, because everyone else said they were going to fade Berger, so I might as well go with the group.
That's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evan. By the way, for Justin Thomas, if I can throw in a little bonus advice here on JT, the obvious favorite this week, I can't go plus 650 this week outright. I just can't do it. But if your heart's set on JT, he's early then late. He plays early on Thursday morning. So maybe wait if he plays pretty well Thursday morning. Then you wait about 24 hours. And before he tees off on Friday afternoon, we expect there to be some low scores out there. You can see somebody at, let's say, 12 under. And if JT's only at 4 under, you might be able to get him at, say, 12-1, 15-1. So there might be a bigger number on JT if you just sit back and wait and do nothing for about 24 hours after it starts. So that's at least my play on JT. And I might wait for him to have a better number outright. And if he plays decent in the first round and there's some guys above him and some lower numbers, I will go after him maybe for the second round. So thanks, Evan. Appreciate you spinning the wheel for us. Don't go anywhere. You still have to produce.
See you guys.
Bye, Evan.
Guys, let's get out in front. And the initials FRL don't always have to stand for first round loser. Be first round leader, and we can make a little money off of that. We love first round leader bets at the Action Network. So many of the people that we work with on such a frequent basis are just firing Thursday bets. It's a fun bet to make for those out there who are not used to making first round leader bets. Just start doing it, and just be careful because it's a wild ride, but it's going to be fun. And guys, just to prove that you can't really go after favorites for the first round leader bets, I think we've got 3 sort of off the board picks for our first round leaders this week at the Mayakoba Golf Classic. Amanda, why don't you start it off? Who are you going with?
So I'm going to go with a guy I've mentioned before for first round leader in the past, Peter Malnati at 80-1. I really like those odds on a guy who only trails Justin Thomas in the field in first round scoring average. JT's around 67, a little closer to 67, and Malnati, I believe, is 67.3. So he's second in the field in 2021 season in first round leaders. So when you have a scoring average that is that low, he's played well at this event in the past, and he's been his first round scoring average has been much lower than it has been in previous seasons. So when you combine that with the odds 81 for a guy that's already second in the field in first round scoring at the event, it's kind of hard to fade him, or not pick him, I should say, rather than fade him.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think Malnati is a smart pick this week, and I like that he's got a big number next to his name for first round leader. My guy is one of my favorite Thursday guys. Harold Varner III has yet to get it done on a Sunday afternoon, but he can get it done on a Thursday afternoon. His last 5 scores on Thursday is 67, 69, 63, 67, 75. Maybe that last one was an outlier, but that's 4 rounds in the 60s out of 5 so far in the 2021 season. Plus, he was co-leader at both Colonial and Sedgefield after the first round just this summer. So I think there's a lot of reasons to like Varner on a Thursday if you don't like him all the way going to a Sunday for his first career win. Pete, where are you going with your first round leader bet this week?
So I don't show value on first round leader bets all the time. I agree they're one of the most entertaining bets and you can get your money back quickly. But actually I've bet quite a few first round leaders, and the biggest edge that I see on a golfer that I'm super bullish on for this week is on Brian Stewart at 90-1. Brian Stewart is not long. He is consistently bottom 5% in distance, 260th, I believe, right now for this season. But he's extremely accurate. 3rd in the 2020 PGA Tour season in driving accuracy, 8th the season before. And the thing that I really like about him is not only is he accurate off the tee, his approach game is really trending in the right direction. So far, 37th in strokes gained approach this season. So I think things are kind of aligning for Brian Stewart, who's just, another Ches Reavie type and accuracy guy. And at that price, 90-1, I certainly really like him as a first round leader.
I really like that, Peter. In fact, I like him for all 4 rounds. He's about as unsexy a pick as you can find out there. You know what? Sometimes unsexy works. Unsexy could be a very smart play this week, especially with guys that certainly aren't based on the winners list necessarily the biggest name. So let's talk a little bit about Mayakoba. It's wet there, and it's going to get even wetter, as Pat and Kazire told us on the Action Network podcast earlier this week. Don't be surprised if they're playing ball in hand, not only the first couple of rounds, maybe all 4 rounds. I mean, it's pretty soggy out there. So there's going to be a premium on accuracy, keeping the ball in the fairway. Of course, it'll be easier to keep the ball in the fairway if it's that wet and that soft. But you're going to be able to ostensibly lift clean in place, hit the ball in the green. Could turn into a putting contest this week. There's a certain type of player who has often won this golf tournament. The first 3 years it was played, 07 to 09, Fred Funk, Brian Gay, Mark Wilson. The last 2 years, Brendan Todd, Matt Kuchar. If you don't see a trend, if you don't see a pattern here, give me a call. Let me know on Twitter. I'll explain it to you. But those are a specific skill set of players that tend to win on this golf tournament. So let's talk about our favorite props. Amanda, there are a lot of good ones out there this week. I think there's a lot of big numbers on sort of long shot players, not just to win, but to finish top 10, top 20. Where are you going with your money on your favorite prop bet?
Yeah, I'm doing none of that. I'm going to go in a totally different direction. Actually, an odd bet. I'm going to go with the winning margin of 1 stroke plus 225 from BetMGM. And I went back and looked at the history of the event. The last 3 events were won by 1 stroke, and 4 years ago the event was won by 2. So if history and statistics tell us anything, this isn't going to be a runaway tournament. They're going to stay within a few shots of each other. So I really liked those odds on something that is really not that crazy to expect because it's been done consistently for the last 3 years. So plus 225 for a 1-shot margin of victory.
Okay. I don't hate that whatsoever. There are a lot of 1-shot wins out there. So just hope that guy makes that last putt on Sunday afternoon, that you don't go to a playoff. So you'll be rooting for that at the end of these things. I'm going with there are a lot of top 20 type bets that I like this week. Guys who have a big number next to their name. Andrew Putnam, Ollie Schneider, Jans, I really like. I'm going to go Robbie Shelton here for a top 20 at plus 700. That's 7-1 on Robbie Shelton. He's missed 2 straight cuts, but didn't play badly in either of them. And before that, had a couple of top 40 finishes. It's a place where he finished 6th last year. I think it's a good course for him So I'm going with Robbie Shelton, the Alabama product. Peter, where are you going with your prop bet this week?
So I love the nationality bets, and oftentimes you can find some really nice value there, specifically on BetMGM. This week, I love Rory Sabatini to be the top Euro. Normally a pretty accurate guy, not so far this season, but going back a couple of years ago, is kind of the top 10 to 15 percentile in driving accuracy. And the main reason that I like him, I actually saw value in a couple guys to be top Euro, is that Victor Hovland is plus 180 to be the top Euro. And I think obviously he's clearly the favorite to be it, but plus 180 with, a bunch of different guys, there's like 12 Euros in this tour or in this field. That's way too steep of a price. And because of that, everyone else is too much of a long shot based on my numbers. And Rory Sabatini represents the best value at plus 700 on BetMGM.
Pete, I'm not laughing at the bet itself. I'm laughing at Rory Sabatini as a European. He was obviously born in South Africa, and he took on Slovakian nationality just a couple of years ago. So yes, he can be the top European, and I guarantee you he will be low Slovakian. I'm betting that this week. Let's get to our favorite matchups. Amanda, where are you going with your matchup this week?
So on BetMGM, Abraham Answer is plus 105 over Harris English. I believe Harris English was minus 110. So this is a matchup that I really like because Abraham Answer is a player that I really like. And to get him at even money is kind of big. Granted, it is against Harris English, who is arguably one of the hottest players in the field right now, but to get Abraham Answers playing in his home country, there's that, he has that energy, those good vibes going on. He's been playing well as of late. And Harris English at some point is going to have to crack. So I really like Abraham Answer plus 105 over Harris English. I would prefer if it was over Daniel Berger, but I think we're going to get to that soon. I don't know who's next, but that's my matchup.
You read my mind, Amanda. Yeah, I like half of that. So I mentioned earlier that I really like Abraham Answer, but I also really like Harris English. So I don't like taking Answer against him, but Daniel Berger is the guy that I'm picking on here. I've got Answer at minus 110 over him. Pete, what do you got?
So Corey Connors is someone I'm really bullish on this week. Great ball striker. He does hit it pretty far, but he's deadly accurate with all parts of his game. Led in strokes gained, he led in proximity to the hole 2 seasons ago. Just an elite ball striker. We talked about Tony Finau and how he's kind of moved in the markets, and this matchup has moved a little bit, but Finau's biggest weapon is his distance. And like you talked about, Jason, with this course, accuracy guys have consistently played extremely well here. So Finau's biggest weapon is kind of mitigated. You need to find fairways. So I really like Connors over him, who I think should be a significant favorite. And Finau's actually the favorite. You're laying a little bit of juice still with Connors, but I think that's a really sharp pick. And I was going to take Connors to be top Canadian, but same thing with Hovland. Corey Connors is minus 125 to be top Canadian, which I don't show value at. So glad I found a bet for Corey Connors, so I'm really bullish on.
I like that. Although I will say Finau has played well on some short courses in the past. Played well at Colonial. So
play well anywhere, but
yeah. Keep an eye on Finau. It seems like a lot of people fading Finau. Almost makes me like him a little bit more. Let's get to our ultimate DFS lineup. We do it every week on the Action Network Golf Bet podcast. Check out the models and tools every week on Fantasy Labs. I created one this week. I said on Twitter I wanted to go after driving accuracy. So fairways, greens, putting. And I had people say, yeah, well, isn't that golf? You do all those things. Well, you should be popping in the models. And of course, Justin Thomas came in first to basically prove their point. So guys, only a few minutes left in the show, but real quick, let's get to our ultimate DFS lineup. Amanda, you're up first. What do you know?
I know. Can you believe it? All right. I'm going to go with Charlie Hoffman. He won this event back in 2014. However, he has missed every cut since then, but his game is heading in the right direction. He has 2 top 30s in his last 2 starts. So he clearly knows this course and he likes to play here. And at the value he is, I think he's kind of hard to pass up on.
I like it. Pete?
I'm going to go with Justin Thomas, who, again, best player in the field. He will be chalky, which is the one downside, but he is the best value across the board. When you look at his outright price, they're basically saying he's 15, 16% to win. You start looking at his top 5, top 10, top 20 numbers. I mean, he's a favorite to be, right up there given the caliber of golfer he is versus this field. And you're only paying a little bit more for him in DFS, whereas, Brooks Koepka and these other guys, they're 5 to 8% to win. So you're getting a huge amount of equity taking Justin Thomas in DFS. The only downside is that he's a little chalky, but I think we'll still be able to make a unique lineup.
Well, Pete, you and I have a rule. If a guy comes on our pod and we like him that week, you got to take him. You can't leave him off. I mean, can you imagine having Patton Kazire on our podcast this week and then saying, nah, let's go with 6 other guys. We're going to leave him off the list. And then he goes out and plays really well this week. So Patton Kazire, lock him in 8,000. Amanda, who's your second play?
I'm going to go with Ricky Fowler. For 9,500, he's one of like the top players, most famous players in the field. He's a big name in a small field, so I really like him this week. His ownership on on draft or DFS lineups has been way down. I like the value. I like that, and he makes cuts. He's not going to miss the cut here this week. He has 2 top 30s in his last 2 starts, so his game's in the right direction. And when you look at the value and the ownership, he's kind of a hard guy to fade.
Peter.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Ricky. I really hope he can have a strong season. Just such a nice guy and obviously great for the PGA Tour. I'll go with Chez Reavie, who I talked about before. I think he's a phenomenal DFS play this week. He's been top 15 last 3 years in driving accuracy. The putter lets him down and his distance lets him down. The putting might matter, but I don't think distance matters as much this week. So I think it's a really good setup for Chez Reavie. We left you no money, Jason. Literally just spent it all. So where are you going?
I'm glad you realized that at least. I'm glad you wiped out my wallet. You left me 6,100 to spend on DraftKings. And guess what, guys? I'm not even going to use it all. Rian Gibson, who was top 25 in putting last year, and I think that's going to be a very important stat this week. I'm taking Rian Gibson. He also plays well in the wind, can get a little windy there on the water in Mexico. 6,000 this week on DraftKings. I'm saving money, leaving 100 on the table. That's a unique lineup right there. Hoffman, JT, Kazire, Fowler, Reavie, Gibson. By the way, for those who are playing FanDuel this week, just a quick little tip. Check out Brian Harmon on FanDuel. Shh, don't tell anybody else. All right, let's get to our giveaway, guys. We've got a nice golf bet hat to give away. We asked for your favorite bet for the Mayakoba Golf Classic, and you guys chimed in. Amanda went through millions of responses. Yeah. Who's going to win the hat this week?
All right, this one, the runner-up was very close to my heart. Waka Paka Flame, amazing name. He said Doug Gim, top 10, plus 800, 5 starts last season, 4 top 25s. He had the top 20 in the last event that was played. So I really liked that one. However, it didn't quite win the hat. The hat is going to go to, now I'm not going to mess this up, North Forker 12. He said Sobel's been talking about that win all season. Well, here it is. Answer is the answer. So North Forker 12, you win the hat. Jason, I know you're excited. You love that pick.
Forker, me and you. Let's do it this week. I do like that pick.
Forking ready.
Like I said, it pains me to not take Abraham Answer. That just the price is too low, but you want to jump on it, and you want to jump on it because I've been on Abraham Answer to win all year. You are perfectly welcome to win money that I would have won betting on him this week. So, guys, just about 2 minutes left in the show here. Give me a long shot that you haven't yet mentioned in the first 28 and a half minutes of the show so far. Peter, who are you going with?
I'm going to go with Affy Barnrat, the Rat, favorite on the pod. He's really long odds. I've seen him as high as 300, 350 to 1. Certain books, BetMGM, a little bit lower, but still think there's maybe a smidge of value. And he's a big guy. You know, he's known. He's got the vape clouds going everywhere. He's certainly a key personality. The reality is he's actually a pretty accurate player, and he can be really good with his approach, specifically when he gets going. He's a streaky player. So, I think the one format that I like him is kind of as a really deep long shot. But anytime I can show value on the Rat, I have to bring him up. So, Affy Barnrat is my long shot. Amanda, what is your long shot?
I love that play, Pete. That is some crazy value on him, though. I'm going with Henrik Norlander. He's been playing okay as of late, but he's been so close this fall. Like, it's got to happen at some point. You know, like that old lady that stalks the slot machines and waits for it to win. Like, you just got to keep putting some money in him until it actually happens. He's a Josh Gregory student. Patrick Reed is also a Josh Gregory guy. They're playing well. I like that. I like Henrik Norlander. He's going to win soon. Jason, who is your long shot?
I'm going to go with Ollie Schneiderjans at 150 to 1. I've been on him for a little bit now. In his last 10 combined PGA Tour and Korn Ferry Tour starts, he's missed 5 cuts. Okay, well, that's fine. But he's also finished 12th or better in 5 of those events as well. So he's kind of an all or nothing guy. Let's hope it's more all and less nothing this week. So guys, resetting the board, JT, Brooks Koepka, Harris English, Abraham Answer, Daniel Berger, Victor Hovland at the top of the field for the Mayakoba Golf Classic this week. Thanks so much to everybody for watching the Gimme this week and throughout the entire year. We will be back for the Century Tournament of Champions beginning of next year. Check out all our content on Golf Bet. For Peter, for Amanda, I'm Jason. Good luck with all your bets. Here's hoping you hit the green.